How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Forever Arsenal podcast. As always, back before and after every Premier League fixture this weekend. What's
Look
going
at
on?
this clown. What's he doing? You all right, Lee?
Yeah. Just got the amp. That's all. Right,
What? Because Nadal's losing.
We're going to get into it because that's what we're here for, to discuss the previous fixture, and it happens to be the previous fixture was our first Premier League loss of the season. Man United away, one of, I'd say, two clubs that, we really hate losing against, more so than any other. And our fortunes at Old Trafford tend to go this way, whether we play well or whether we don't, which is something Lee touched on at the studio and in his fan cam. And I'm sure he'll touch on it again. But make sure you guys hit the like button and leave your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. But yeah, we've lost our first Premier League game of the season. I've said it. James, I've spoken to you. Lee, I've spoken to you. So Jordan, I'm going to start with you. What did you make of it all, first and foremost?
I'm disappointed for two reasons. The first reason is I know it's been said over the last 24 hours, but I liked how we played. I thought we played really well. I'll caveat that by saying we don't want to be in a scenario whereby we get the kind of patronizing pats on the head of you played really well, but step aside, let the big boys get the points out here. But I do think it's important to flag that we played really well. I watched that game, and I must have watched a different game to other people, because if you can acknowledge that Man United were more clinical and won the game and accept that L, fine. You have to hold that. But also accept that the better team lost. Now, in the grand scheme of things, the better team losing doesn't mean anything. This is sport. If you lose, you lose. But one of the positives I take away from the game was I watched my team play and I saw an identity. I saw a system. I saw a plan. We just wasn't ruthless enough. That was the only thing for me that let us down. We should have been a couple of goals up in the first half. I'm sure we'll get to the disallowed goal in a second. And even in the second half, we were the better team. We went to Old Trafford and were the better team. For at least an hour of the 90 minutes, we were the better team. We just got caught on the counter by some naive tactics in the latter part of the game that ended up killing the game. But I'm disappointed because it's a game that I thought we should have won. I do. I think we should have won that game. I'm going to just say it brazenly. I think we should have won that game, but we didn't. I'm also upset because going into the game, we expected Odegaard to not play and Zinchenko was a 50-50. I predicted a draw. Had I known Zinchenko and Odegaard were going to play, I'd have predicted an Arsenal win. I would have gone for an Arsenal win. So yeah, man. So disappointed we lost the game, of course. I mean, I don't have the same hatred towards Spurs that I do United. I know most people do, and I get why. Local rivals, they're annoying. I hate United more than Spurs. I hate losing to United more than Tottenham Hotspur. And being the better team and losing hurts even more. But listen, we lick our wounds. First defeats come. We've got to get back on the horse and go again. But the bigger reason I'm disappointed, and I'll defer now, the bigger reason I'm disappointed is how the transfer window ended. And I've got big concerns now about how the season will map out. But I don't want to hog the first question. I'll defer. But those are the two reasons why I'm disappointed.
I think that's something we should get into, maybe in between the end of this conversation and moving on to the Europa League, because the transfer window did just close. This was our first fixture after it, and I think in midfield. Listen, I don't want to pile in on Sambi and say, I think he had he wasn't terrible, but it was just too big a game for him. It was just too big a game, and I was looking at moments. I've rewatched the game. When we win, I don't tend to rewatch it, but when we lose, I like to, but I rewatch it to see really what went wrong in those big moments. And yesterday, after emotionally, Gabriel, I saw him too far away from Saliba, and I maintained that. I think he was still too far, hence the gap and the goals. But Sambi wasn't in the position that you'd expect the Partey to be, or even at El Nene. I think if we have El Nene in that game yesterday, we probably get something out of the game, something at the very least. So I think the midfield position is something we're definitely going to talk about. Lee, let's go to you next.
Do you know what? yesterday after the game, I didn't really know where I was. Sort of mixed emotions. I was, but after today, I woke up this morning and all that. I'm more frustrated than ever because Jordan's right. We played really, really well. We threw it away with just a couple of bad moments of whatever. When it went 1-1, we was playing so well. It was a pleasure watching Saka ripping their left back all over the place. You know what I mean? Like Martinelli doing the same on the left hand side. Jesus, everybody's going over on and Varane and Martinez. They could not handle him. They were fouling him. McTominay was going around kicking people every left, right, and centre. That's how they had to keep into the game because our football was sublime at times, and that's without Partey in the side. We just kick ourselves in the foot. I brought up a thing yesterday with James when we was doing the show at the end with Mikel Arteta. It was gaming season yesterday. Gaming season to have a go at the referees and VAR and everything like that. And I thought Arteta should have deflected everything onto that yesterday. Instead, he come out and said, "Oh, we're not learning our lessons." How many more times is it going to take? How many more games is it before you start learning your lessons? 10 defeats last season, defeats at Man United, very similar to the way we lost at Man United last season. This season, we lose. We play really, really well and get caught on the counter attack again. When are you going to learn? I felt at 1-1 we was playing really well, and the defenders switched off. And I mean that sincerely. You can blame the Conga in the midfield, but he's lost the ball in the final third, and people are criticising him for that. There's 70 yards of a football field to defend, and we don't defend it. We just, Ben White trying to play offside on the halfway line. Get a grip. Poor defending. Gabriel poor. He was poor most of the game, if I'll be honest. But I'm going to take the positives that we played really, really well. And, people trying to blame the substitutions. We was 2-1 down at the time. I did think it was a strange thing. I did say it on stream yesterday. I felt that I don't really understand. I find it hard to make one substitution, let alone three. But I'm going to take the positives from it. We played really, really well yesterday. I know you don't get a consolation from it. We played really, really well against Manchester City last season. Do you remember that home game and lost? There was frustrations, but you could look at it and go, "Oh, well, we got someone sent off for dodgy this." You can go on it. I didn't really see too much wrong yesterday other than ourselves, poor defending. And I'm going to have to say it. Clinical. As a Man United, that was the one thing they had us. They were clinical. They took their chances. We had... opened them up on more than enough occasions. Off my head, Saliba hits the target. He scored. We score. Martin Odegaard went from fantastic work from Saka and Jesus, gets him in 6 yards out, and he hits the corner flag. You know what I mean? We had chances. Xhaka had one over the bar. Smith Rowe had a shot over the bar. We created enough chance. We just did not hit the target. And this is not the first time. And listen, another thing I've said on this stream plenty of times this season. Ramsdale has been too busy for me with the lack of percentage of the game. We've had 80-70% of games, and I've turned around and said that Ramsdale was too busy for my liking. Again yesterday, like that, they didn't have that much possession, but look at the chances we let them have. I think we've got to learn our lessons from it. I agree with that with Mikel, but how many more times you're going to, go there? He's got some decisions to make come the weekend now.
James,
I I echo everything that's been said. Played really well. This might sound a bit weird to say, but the whole naivety thing, it doesn't bother me as much as it bothers other people. It was naive of Arsenal, but this is where people, when people say, "Oh, your standards have fallen so far that now what used to not be good enough, you're now taking positives in." For example, how many times under Wenger, when we had a young Fabregas, Rosicky, all these players, did we play really well against these teams and lose? But Arsenal did fall a long way from all that, and are now getting back to a stage where we're really entertained by the football we're playing, but maybe a little bit of naivety, killer instinct, maturity is costing us in some bigger games. I take heart out of the fact that we went and played really well.
Yeah.
Look, they still have. I heard people talking about Ten Hag and what he's done in a matter of 6 games or whatever. I'm not taking anything away from Ten Hag. He's straightened them out quite quickly, especially since the Brentford game. But let's not act like they don't have hundreds of millions of pounds worth of talent on that football pitch. There's quality. And if you give them opportunities, they're often going to take them. So that was naive from Arsenal. I think he did make the subs a bit too early. And I think when we got the equaliser, he should have recognised that was a point in the game for Arsenal rather than to build on it, to maybe just kill the tempo a little bit and settle into it and then go again. But hindsight's a wonderful thing. And it was a young, enthusiastic manager and a young, enthusiastic team smelling a win at Old Trafford. I think we could all sense. I think in that moment, I was like, okay, let's go now. But hindsight after, you think, well, maybe calm it down. So I'm with you guys. I'm going to take the positives. It is frustrating.
Yeah. Sorry, James.
I'll just say the last thing. There won't be any other defeats in the season I don't think that will leave us in as better a position as. What I'm trying to say is we lost. We're still at the top of the pile, though it's very early on, and it's our first of the season. Like, if any of them are ever going to be stomachable, it's this one. So take the positives, learn from it, and I guess I've got one frustration. I want Arsenal to be picking up points. How many times last season did we play okay but end up losing? I want us to be picking up points from these situations, but we did okay, I think.
Just want to come on something you said there. I think sometimes we're looking. I don't know if it's people want to just bash the drum at Mikel Arteta, if we'd have gone 1-1 there and we was playing like we did, and he then turned around and said, "Oh, right," and we shut up shop, and we ended up drawing 1-1. I think he would have got a lot of criticism. People would have turned around and said, "Oh, why did we shut up shop? Why we was in the ascendancy there."
Yeah,
we got killed from it because of poor defending from 2 players. I don't tend to blame Mikel for that. Maybe on the substitutions,
you're right.
2-1. But I'm sorry. At 1-1, I'm with you. We was playing some good stuff, and it was good to watch. I thought we was going to win the game.
Lee, you're bang on. I mean, the amount of times I remember seeing under Wenger, Emery, and even Arteta, us in positions whereby we'd get ourselves level, and those managers would not be adventurous, and we'd criticize Arteta. I've heard it for not being adventurous enough and killing games. And why didn't he bring on Lacazette? Why didn't he bring on Ozil? Why didn't he go for it? And then the time he does it, we batter him. Now, to counter that, where I was surprised was it was early. We didn't need to go for the game at that point. We were the better team. Even when we scored, we were the better team for most of that game. What I'm surprised is that he almost abandoned his own philosophy of how to win games. And coming from Pep Guardiola, where he's learned, Pep Guardiola would never, ever, ever decide, I need a goal, I'm going to just go for it. In the last 5 minutes, maybe.
Yeah.
In the last 5 minutes.
That's the criticism.
Maybe. But Pep Guardiola, who is his guru, and the model that I think we're trying to learn from, would never, with 20 minutes to go, when you're on top, go for the jugular. Keep doing what you're doing. I reckon Pep Guardiola, even if he goes 2-1 down, would still say, carry on. Yeah. It will come. So why he felt the need to kind of go against his own principles, I found really, really interesting. If I'm going to be uber critical, I think the first goal, Ramsdale could do better. I think the angle, he could close a little bit better. I'm being very critical here now.
Kind of gave it up for that side.
A little bit for me. I'm with you, Turkish. I heard a lot of people praising Lokonga. I thought Lokonga was okay, but he seems to be one of the people that fans were talking about the first. Like, he had a really good game. I was like, I don't know if he had a brilliant game. It was a 6 out of 10 for me, which for
That's
a young
interesting. So I saw the opposite. I saw a lot of people going at him first. So somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, as always, I thought Jesus was absolutely a man possessed. But what we've got to do is be very, very careful in that we don't turn him into a new Lacazette. He's an upgrade Lacazette, but he does so much great work in between the halfway line and the opposition box. A lot of great work. Did he get 2 shots off?
maybe do.
There was a curling effort in the second half where he kind of took it on
Yeah, that was
No,
unlucky.
right.
Graham sent me the stats. I should really know.
He was unlucky with that one. If it's on target, it's a goal. That's what I'm saying about like we had so many shots that were off target. It was a great effort, that one though. I don't criticise him for that.
My point being, for all the great forward play that I think he demonstrated, did we get him in positions where he could actually get shots off? Do you know what I mean?
The only chance that we did was when Udegaard put him through for Saka's goal. That was the only real chance that he had. I thought he was fantastic, but
he was brilliant.
We didn't get him.
We didn't get. It's not good enough.
No, and I agree with you. We wanted him having a few of those chances that other players have got, but he's setting up. He's setting out. He set up Udegaard for the chance, you know.
And we need to work on that. We need to work on. Do we want him doing that great work he does do to link the play for Saka and Martinelli, which he's very good at, or do we want him doing a little bit less of that, but actually, we want you 20 more yards inside their area. That was one thing for me, but I'm not too downbeaten by it. We played well. And over the course of the season, it is. And over the course of the season, I'm a big believer in good performances will bring rewards. Yeah. I'd much rather play well and at this point of the season and lose rather than win, but it not be deserved. Because you know me, I'm not one of these people that believes into this whole a sign of a good team is not playing well and winning. It's not sustainable. So United didn't play well for me and they won. That's not sustainable. They will come undone at some point. So as long as we learn from that, use the word there, James, learning, Arteta has to find a way to make us killers. We can't be, I think it was Lee said it in the last podcast, we can't have all that possession and be on top that much and have one goal to show for it. We can't. We should have had 2 in the first half and at least 1 in the second half. We've got to be killers. We've got to be, Saka's got to be ruthless. Martinelli's got to be ruthless. We've got to score goals, man.
Sorry, I know there's going to be a little bit of transfer window talk, so shut me up if I'm moving into it a little bit too early, but that's where I feel a sense of frustration that it's another window of which Arteta's now had 3 summer windows and he's added 1 striker in that time. He's not signed a single winger, I don't believe. Well, Willian on a free. And I'm really surprised that where Klopp came in and added Mane and Salah in his first 2 windows and Pep added, Sterling was there, wasn't he? But he added Leroy Sané. Yeah. You know, I'm just really surprised he's not added. Who's your terrorizer? And I know Martinelli can do it. I know Saka can do it. But by the way, happy birthday to Bukayo Saka at the time of recording. It's his 21st birthday. And when I saw he turned 21, I remembered my 21st. And, you know, when you forget.
What were you doing at 21, James? What were you doing at 21 years old?
I was drinking tequila. Singing the Saliba song 5 years early. But you know, you forget how young they are. You really, really, really forget how young they are and how much. And I know you know, if you're good enough, you're old enough. I get it, but like we are depending on them to be the guys to put it in the back of the net, Old Trafford, and turn around. And it's not that they can't do it, but it's that almost they know they're the only ones who have to do it, if that makes sense. Like, it's like if I don't really deliver, the chance of someone else, you know, is very unlikely. Whereas if you've got that killer, Saka's like, well, I know this guy's going to deliver, but I could just enjoy I think these are little things, and I'm really surprised we didn't add a little bit more firepower, using Arteta's words, you know, in the summer window. So I think that showed a little bit yesterday.
I'm so angry.
That's why there's such a fine balance between enjoying where we've come from in the last couple of years, but also understanding that you enjoy it too much. These owners have shown before, under a greater name than Mikel and Arsene Wenger, they've shown before that they can rest on their laurels and they don't really give a shit about the club. So with the Sakas and the Emil Smith-Rowes and the Martinellis, very, very good young players. But at times last season, I mentioned, it's not fair to rely upon them. This is Arsenal Football Club. It's not fair for us fans and the amount we love this club and want this club to succeed, for the club to then rely upon not just 1 young player, 2 young players, like any club would do, any big club. 4s, 5s, you know, and even this season, Saliba comes into the play as well. We had a good transfer window in comparison to a lot of the ones we had in the past. Yeah, and that's something I've maintained. But at the same time, I can also say that that's pretty easy to do. when you look at our previous transfer window. So yes, it's an improvement and it's proactive, which is something I haven't seen from Arsenal Football Club. We brought in quality, but what Jesus brought in particular is a certain level that, as much as we've admired Saka, Martinelli and Emile Smith-Rowe over the last 12 to 18, 24 months, there's a certain level of quality that only age can bring as well, experience and so on. So I think, yeah, go on.
I'm sorry to cut you. I'm with you, man. I'm so disappointed, and I think we've shot ourselves in the foot. And the irony is that the player, when I really think about it, the player who I've kind of been describing that I want Arsenal to sign for the last 3 months, is the player that we tried to get on the last day and failed. Douglas Luiz is the exact type of midfielder we should have got at the start of the window. Tenacious, good passer, can nick a goal, defensively can be disciplined. He's the why we're going for him on the last day of the season. I think of the window is embarrassing, and I'm going to say it right now. I didn't think we'd get top 4 before the window closed. I'm even more sure now we won't get top 4 because in the middle of the park, as demonstrated on Sunday, we are light. We are light. We haven't got the midfield depth to go a whole season. I'll say it for the 75th time. Partey will get these niggles. We just have to accept it. He will get niggles every now and again and be out for a handful of games. Yeah, that will happen. Sambi Lokonga looks like a nice prospect, but he's not ready. El Nene, okay, nobody could foresee him being out for the time that I think he's going to be out for. But the mere fact that 6 games in, what I predicted would happen has happened, says it all for me. And I just fear what we've done now is we're relying on Chelsea to implode, United to implode, Spurs to implode, rather than handling our own business and arming up ourselves to go and get 3rd. Not even 4th. I think 3rd's gettable. I really think 3rd is gettable. But we've now left ourselves in a bum fight with 3 other teams who are relying on, for me, to have a dip. And I just don't see it. And I just don't think we'll get top 4 now. I'm not saying that because we lost to Man United. I've said from the get-go, I wasn't convinced with 4th even before Sunday. Before the window closing. But the window having shut now and our midfield options, I think we're light. I think
the reliability, the weather's mad. The weather's just gone mad.
Can you hear that?
Can you hear it here?
Yeah, it's happening here as well.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's
fucking
mad here, yeah.
Sauron's returned. Jesus Christ. What is going on?
It does sound peak out there.
Oh my God. I saw the light come through my window.
Someone's not happy about me saying Arsenal finished 5th. I'm telling you. As soon as I said that, the heavens opened up.
But like last season and like seasons before, listen, I actually agree with you. You know, the confidence for our top 4 hopes always seems to partly come down to relying on other clubs to implode. And I think that percentage of partly came down from the start of last season to the start of this season because of the work we've done in comparison to the others. Some of the others spent a lot more, but, you know, I think the players we brought in, I'm happy with. I just feel like a couple more would have shored us up. And I remember, again, the Wenger times, it was always a couple more them times. It was always 2 more signings away from a Premier League challenging side.
Mm-hmm.
And they never did it. And every summer, it'd go from 2 needed to 3 needed because we'd lose one of the big players and then we'd bring one in potentially, or one would come up from the youth side like a Fabregas or whoever it was over the years. And I'm just... As much as I'm optimistic about the change in the window and the 5 wins, I'm also hesitant to change my ways on Kroenkes yet because of some of the January being another example. So, you know, my first target is still... Go on. Sorry
to cut you. You know, I said after Palace, we came through that with a 2-0 win and Saka gets the kind of deflected goal, went down as an own goal. But I said, wouldn't it have been amazing when we were under the cosh a little bit in that game to be like, cool, Saka, well played, off you come, Zaha on, Pedro Neto on, Rafinha on, like someone who's that 50, 60 million pound winger. Now, imagine we're playing Man United yesterday. We're playing well. It's 1-1. We're on top. Okay, they nick a goal back. It's 2-1. But your trump card, your next piece, you know, the next card you play is, all right, Saka, Martinelli, you've been doing really, really well. Come off. And now the next guy, and the fullback's thinking, I've just had to deal with 65, 70 minutes getting torn apart by this guy. And now fresh legs are coming on and they're going to tear me. Jordan seems to disagree. But and then the next guy tears. And I think that's where Arsenal could go up a level. And credit to Vieira. I thought he came on and actually had a really impressive cameo.
Yeah, he done good.
Smith Rowe, we know, is a good player, but he's
injury prone.
Injury prone. And then who's the third trainer? Nketiah. I mean, Nketiah's been having an impact from the bench, in fairness to him. But I just kind of think I want more players that scare defenders through raw pace and skill and threat. And I think outside of Saka and Martinelli, we don't have that. I mean, maybe Jesus can do it if you put him out wide, but then you're weakening another position. So, yeah, I really think it was a missed opportunity. And ultimately, the changes Arteta made, whatever, if he left it, we'd have complained. And with the changes, I don't actually think we were going to improve because we were probably playing at our best and just not taking the chances.
I think I do think that because, how can I say that? Because the season gets put on hold in November, virtually that's it then. Like, you know, we have 1 week left and the transfer window's open. I do think that they thought, well, we're not going to spend, you know, like, if it was Tillemans they was going for, or Douglas Luiz, or whatever, like, they wanted 40 million for those players. I think Arsenal thought, no, you know, we can hold on till November. I think if it was in January, as it normally is, and we was playing till January, I think Arsenal wouldn't have been able to just say, oh, okay, we'll leave it. I honestly believe they would have had to have paid well over the odds for one of those players. When it comes now, we get through October and parties, it's a gamble. It's a gamble. But in January, when we've then got the business side of the Champions League, because the Champions League should take care of itself in these group stages. I think then, and I said this earlier on, if you're a player, where am I going to play? Right, you're going to play in Europa League knockout stages and all that. Like, it's not such a bad, you know, that's an important thing. If you say to a player now, like, you're coming to the squad and you're going to play Europa League, it's like, well, I'm not really in a part of it. But come January, we are going on 2 fronts. And I think that maybe even the Europa League team was going to be more important than the Premier League team. They must sign players in January. If they don't, if we have another January like we did last season, I guarantee we won't finish it in the top 6, let alone the top 4. So, you know, I do think that it's not such a bad thing at this moment in time. But
you know what's mad to me though? I really find it strange. When Arteta arrived, I think we needed some quality in the front 3, and we needed probably, okay, at the time we were calling it an upgrade on Xhaka. In fairness, he's playing really well right now, but we definitely needed more in that position. And he's gone 3 summer windows, I think 6 in total, and he's not bought one single senior central midfielder, and he's not spent money on one single senior wide forward, winger, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I think it's a great point.
Really weird.
It is.
That's really because we've been wanting to interest. I remember the Locatelli rumors last year, you know, and we've gone 3 whole windows since then.
We had a whole summer chasing a while. We had a whole summer chasing a while now. He's virtually peanuts.
Right,
now.
So he knew he needed that kind of player.
And he's not even.
Okay, Odegaard's coming, but I consider Odegaard more of a 10.
Yeah. I don't work it.
Maybe Vieira, maybe Fabio Vieira is a central midfielder. Maybe that's what he's going to be.
I don't even think the midfielders we're naming are the kind of midfielders that we even need. We're naming more offensive, creative midfielders. I'm talking about a central midfielder that can go in the middle of the park and do a job in the middle of the park. And where I disagree with you, James, is when you spoke about the need for a kind of exciting winger that you could bring off the bench and scare teams. The reason why I've always prioritized the midfielder over a wide person is because the drop-off from our first choice wide men to our backups isn't huge. But the drop-off in midfield to the backup is massive. And I just think, I mean, I don't know.
Who are our backup wingers? Who are our backup wide
on the left, you can play Emil Smith-Rowe.
Yeah.
Vieira on the right.
And Vieira on the right. It's not a huge drop-off, but in the middle, I don't want to pick on Lokonga, but he's not ready. And I just feel like if Douglas Luiz was signed and played at Old Trafford, we may still have lost. But all the goals came through the middle. They all came through the middle. And I just feel if you had that midfielder in, you're taking off your captain, your best player on the pitch for me, well, bar Jesus, Odegaard, and you're changing your whole shape because you've got no midfielders to bring on. I just can't believe we left ourselves that open to being so vulnerable in the middle of the pitch. Games of that magnitude as well are won in the center of the pitch. And over the course of a season, you don't have a good defender and a good midfielder and a good forward. You don't really go anywhere. We've got 2 good defenders, although Gabriel was suspect yesterday. We've got a good centre forward now. I just feel when our first choice and 2 aren't there, the drop-off is huge. It's massive.
When we won leagues, I know it's a long time ago now, and probably some of you don't even remember it, but like when we won leagues,
I barely remember it, Lee.
We had Vieira, Gilberto. We had, backing him up, Edu, Ray Parler. All good, solid central mid. 4 of them. You know, you look at up front, we had Carnu and Wiltall backing up Bergkamp, Henry and people like that. We haven't got that now. We've got a good 11. But where is the backup for these players? You go back into you have to have a good backup squad. And where is that? What is that? What happens if something happens to Xhaka? Just say he gets injured now. Who's coming in to the Xhaka role?
He'll put Emil Smith Rowe in there, and then we'll be.
Well, he's not reliable, Turkish. You know, like, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, he might be.
Have you ever heard a player to get injured on a warm down? It's just like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, it's like having a bath and pulling a groin strain, isn't it? Like, what is going on? You know what I mean? Like,
it's true. It's so true.
It's incredible.
It's so
like,
true.
You know what I mean? Like, what?
And the whole summer we've been crying for. It's true though.
His face is so serious.
I know. The fan base are chatting about, you know, Sane and Rafinha and Gnabry and Zaha, and I'm just like, what? These people, if they came to the club, I'd embrace them. Great, but these were never priorities for me. They were never priorities. They were vanity signings to kind of add a little bit of X factor on the team. But I'm telling you, if he who I won't name gets injured or suspended, we're in trouble. We are in trouble, man. Big trouble. And we're back to where we were 2 years ago.
I wanted a central midfielder too, and I think I didn't want a playmaker, and I didn't want a defensive midfielder. I wanted that in between, what I think a Tielemans is, or what a Milinkovic-Savic would have been, or a Lucas Paqueta, is that kind of box to box. They got legs, they do a bit of the defensive work, but they had a little bit of going forward. They maybe chip in 6 to 10 goals a season, that kind of thing. A bit like Cazorla was alongside Coquelin at one point. That was the kind of midfielder I think we needed, because I think it would have added depth. And it would have helped when you got that injury crisis in holding midfield. I do think it's very, you know, if Xhaka gets injured, you know, even with a bad summer transfer window, we're no one's saying it is, but let's say we had one. It's pretty bloody unfortunate that El Nene, Partey, and Xhaka all get injured at once. For example, you know, Partey and El Nene all at once that is a surprise, even though we kind of knew what Partey's record could be like. So I think we need a central midfielder. I think what Arsenal haven't done for a while, I think they've impressed teams. Right? I think teams play Arsenal and go, "Cool, you're quite good. You're moving it around, and we're struggling to press you. And you're playing out of our press and whatever." But do we terrorize teams? You know, when you're playing Liverpool in their pomp, or City, pretty much whenever
they're licking off crossbars, hitting posts off the line, peppering the keeper.
But when you look at City, though, they don't actually have an abundance of midfield options, but they can all score goals. They can all terrorize. They can all cause you problems, you know. And ultimately, the group they do have, you know, has immense quality. I just think Arsenal need more of that threat, killer instinct. And I think if we had that if we had that killer instinct in that United game, we wouldn't be talking about Sambi Lokonga's performance.
No,
we wouldn't be talking about the lack of depth, or what if this, what if that. I think we'd be thinking, if Sambi gets injured, cool, chuck in White there and Tomiyasu at right back, we'll make it work. I think we'd have found a way. It's just we're when we are, listen, Villa and Fulham were very similar. We were the better teams in both those games, came out with 2-1 wins. We need to be making more of our dominance. That's why, for me, the forward is more important than the midfielder.
James, I personally would have been complaining still. If we'd have signed Zaha or a winger on deadline day, I would still be complaining because my beef isn't the defeat at Old Trafford. My beef is the depth what we're lacking in that particular part of the pitch over the course of the season. So whether we won, lost or drawn at Old Trafford, having signed, I don't know, Gnabry or Zaha on transfer day, let's say we won that game 3-1. I would still be saying, we won the game 3-1, brilliant, smash those so-and-sos up north, blah, 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 blah. But I'm still concerned about the depth in midfield going forward. Do you know what I mean? I'd still be concerned.
I mean, listen, I mean, ultimately...
It's bigger than Sunday for me. It's about the whole season.
You're both right, though, when you really think about it. Because
no, James isn't right. No, I'm
because one or the other would be moaning about the other.
Would you take Edison
that's
in
a low
midfield?
blow. That is a low blow, James. There's no need for that. We're getting on.
Edison holding midfield, 35 million.
You know what? It's not a bad idea, mate. I'll take him right now. I'll tell you that for free. Bloody hell.
He said, "I'll take him right now." But I think you're both right. Yesterday, the United game, I think we could have done with an attacking threat that, like James described, someone that's a bit electric, someone that's going to really come on, and you know what you're getting from him. In midfield, you saw the gaps in midfield and the need for a midfielder. I think, like I said, we've done this in the past where we haven't plugged the last 2-3 holes that we should really be plugging, and then it costs us. Obviously, it's still very early on in the season. It isn't the end of the world. And out of 6 games, 5 wins, if we bounce back, we keep it moving. And I think if we bounce back and forget about this one and we approach the next big fixture, well, I forget what the next big fixture is. Tottenham at home, first of October. So that's always a big one. So really and truly, we have to, try and go into that one having fully bounced back from the United game. We've got tough fixtures in between. Brentford away is the one before international break. So that's one to look out for. But like I said, it's not the end of the world. And we have a Europa League game in between that United loss and the Everton home fixture this Sunday in the Premier League. Europa League returns. We're back in Europe. Yay.
It is a tune, to be fair.
It is a tune.
I think that and the Game of Thrones theme tune are the 2 greatest of all time.
I wouldn't go that far, but...
dear.
And Europa League.
He'll be happy with our midfield in a minute, not saying that comment.
Someone, I know there's clever editors out there. Someone go make the Game of Thrones intro. You know where they're building the little cities on the map,
with the Europa League,
all the Europa League stadiums, clubs. So someone make that. Honestly, that'd be incredible.
If they slowed it down a bit, it could probably work. The audio, I can't lie. I'm picturing it now, but yeah, we're coming off something. Europa League. To be honest, I'm more interested in talking about this than the Europa League itself. But we are back in it. Zurich away from home this Thursday, 5:45, earlier than usual kickoff, but that's what they're doing now. 5:45s and 8 p.m s. Yeah, what do we do? Obviously, I want to see Vieira start. I want to see Emil Smith-Rowe start. Tomiyasu.
Is Emil out? Have we had any?
Yeah, I think he's out.
Well, that's fucking great.
Fell over a bar of soap, I'm being told now.
Emil, we wish you all the best in your recovery. Please come back soon.
Big fan of the show.
I love him.
He loves him. He loves the show, Lee. He loves the show. Big fan.
I'm a massive fan of Emil, like, you know what I mean? But...
Yeah, it sounds like it. Yeah.
No, I am. I'm a big fan. I'm frustrated, because I think he's a player, but I think, little niggly injuries have hampered him. You know what I mean? This time last year he was in the World Cup squad, England squad. But it's just injuries have messing him up a little bit. I think he, on his day he's a top player. But there's another one that has got to stay fit, and it is a bit of a worry. But I want to see Mark and what's his name, Mark. Oh, Marquinhos.
Oh yes, Marquinhos, 100%.
Marquinhos, I want to see him being see what got to offer. Vieira definitely, Eddie a play as well. But it'd be interesting to see what his back four would be like. You know, obviously Cedric are coming, Tierney are coming. I think.
He on the left then, because I want to give Martinelli a rest as well.
No, when you go through the team,
well, you would have.
It is tight. I mean, okay, Turner in goal. Let's say. By the way, I don't think he's going to do this. I think he'll go semi-first team.
I think he should. I'm going to break rank here. I think he should go strong. I think I'd go strong.
I don't think it's a bad idea. Get them used to playing a little bit more frequently, and also put that United game to bed for some of those players. I think he'll go. I think he might go Ramsdale. You know.
No,
I would too. I would too.
He nearly went down the other day. Maybe
Turner in goal. I'd be very, very surprised if Ramsdale playing. Very, very surprised.
Then I think he could easily do something like Cedric, Tomiyasu, Gabriel at centre back, and so Tomiyasu centre back with Gabriel and Tierney. I think he could easily do something like that. I think he could easily play Lokonga, Xhaka, and Vieira as a three.
That's because that's all we got.
And then Marquinhos, Eddie, Martinelli.
And then
I'd go stronger than that.
But any injuries,
let's have a game then. Let's have a game then. Let's pick a team and see who gets the closest.
This is all going on the prediction. But is the predictions counting for?
Yes, they're counting.
I just want to say I would go strong. I don't think he will, but I would go more strong than mixed. One, to get the United, put that to bed. I think we need to win the next few games now. Let's go on another run. Next 10 games, I want 8 wins. Let's go on another run.
To the fixtures, have you?
No, I haven't. But I'm just saying. I think we need to go on another run of some type now to show that we lost to United.
City away, Liverpool away.
I don't care.
Away.
Either way, beat them.
We don't have a home game till Feb.
Shaka's got to play in this game, isn't he? I know that Jordan can't mention him, but Shaka's got to play because
I would play him, Lee. I would play.
We haven't got anybody else.
What is that?
That's what I'm saying about now. Any injuries that we pick up is really going to cost us in the league. Now James has gone through the side. I've asked about how do we rest Martinelli without a Smith Rowe. Forget number 6. The whole team's starting to look light all of a sudden. The whole team, because we've only got Jesus and Eddie and Nketiah as well.
Well, Jesus actually can actually do a thing like where Eddie starts and they can play Jesus or I'd like to say both of them, but like they could say, right, you share the left-hand side for this game.
Rotate, maybe.
Just rotate a little bit, like, you know, I think that could be a game to try and test Ben White out in a central midfield holding role because we haven't got one.
So the thing is, I'm not so sure we can be experimenting. I think we need to win this group early. Let's wrap it up early. I personally think that we've got more chance of success in the Europa League than in the league. So I would treat this competition with a lot of respect. Win the first 4 games, qualify, and then you can mess around in the final 2 games and you can experiment then. I would go strong in this game. The only players I would definitely drop to the bench would be Jesus, Saliba. In fact, no, I'd start Saliba. I'd drop Gabriel. I think he needs a game off. He's had a couple of ropey games. I would take him out for this game and maybe Zinchenko. Pretty much everybody else, I would start. I wouldn't start Marquinhos.
Sorry, of course. Great Alexander Zinchenko starting in midfield. That's, of course, what we want to see. Xhaka, you have your rest.
That's true.
Zinchenko midfield.
But I feel like the United lineup answered your thoughts about that, don't you?
What's that?
I thought the United lineup answered your thoughts about Zinchenko in that position.
Well, I'm not a quitter, so we hang in there. But yes, it was a pretty damning verdict from Arteta. But we move. You never know. There's every chance.
To anyone wondering what we're talking about, Robbie and James have a little bet about where Zinchenko will start the majority of games this season, whether that's the left-back position or in midfield somewhere. 8, it was the number 8, right?
Yeah, I'm 4-0 down.
Yeah, you're 4-0 down. Even though throughout games you see Zinchenko in that position, you know, a lot more than you'd imagine. But yeah.
Hang in there, James. Hang in there, James. Just hang in there, mate.
You never know.
Hang in there.
The great comeback. Yeah, no, we're tight. Listen, we're
Right.
tight. We're light. We're very light.
We can't even rest both centre backs when you think about it.
I'd love to have.
Oh, Holding's going to come in and play. Holding's going to come in and play.
Yeah, maybe Holding will. I'd love to have. Is it Gary O'Driscoll, the club doctor?
What,
Like,
in midfield?
No.
He's got a good first touch. Is he better than Edison? Is he better than
How are you at number 6? Mikel Arteta will put on his boots with their due. They'll be lining up in midfield together. Whoa. We're number 42 and 56 because we need some numbers. Listen, I'd love to talk to him and ask, actually, from the sports science side, here are the amount of games they've got before the World Cup. You know, basically, can they manage that physically? Because he might just be thinking the first team are going to be playing. Listen, Tottenham, who got into the Champions League, they'll be playing their first 11 for most of those games in far more strenuous circumstances. Yeah, okay, they've got an ideal group, but that will be more taxing, you'd think. So they're not going to have the opportunities to rest.
I'd go strong.
So maybe Arteta sees it the same way.
Yeah, I'd go strong.
Yeah, I'd mix it up. But there is some positions that now I'm weary and I'm thinking about, and I'm thinking we got to protect. I agree with Jordan. There's a couple of players that we need to, rest and hope that we don't.
The other thing is that Tottenham have got a big squad now. So if, for instance, Højbjerg gets injured on the Champions League, in comes Basuma. We haven't got that luxury. We haven't got that luxury now. We've got to manage Xhaka now and Lokonga a little bit better. So for me, Holding comes in. I don't think that the central defence is. We've got 3 good, very, very good central defenders, and he's got a problem what he does on Sunday, because I think that Tomiyasu's got to come in at right back, so he's got to make a decision.
Really?
Yeah, I think now, I mean, I've been saying it, like 3 goals conceded. We've been conceding too many chances. I think we've got to have a look at the back 4 situation now. I think Tomiyasu he's got to come in now. I think Ben White's done well, so I think Ben White has got to maybe come in as one of the central defenders. I don't know. These are decisions that he's got to make. But ultimately, what Tomiyasu needs to do is get 90 minutes under his belt. Now, whether he gets that central defence or I think that he'll probably play. I would like to see this back 4. I'd like to see Cedric on the right, Tomiyasu and Holding, and Kieran Tierney on the left. The whole back, the others being rested. And I'd maybe even like to see Ben White play as a central midfield holding player to see if he can do the job. That's what I'd like to see.
Well, listen, first game of the Europa League. It's actually going to be a very interesting first election.
If we can't get through, in that group, then we should win every home game, and we get points away from home somewhere.
Oh no! What's the Conference League theme tune?
Oh jeez!
Don't even listen to it.
Is there a theme tune? Did they bother to make a theme
tune? I think it's Benny Hill.
I think it's the Europa one. What do you say?
Benny Hill.
We'll end up in it. And then people will use that. I think it's the Europa League one. I think it's the same one, actually.
Same. They didn't even bother doing their own anthem.
I don't blame. I'm surprised the Champions League hasn't adopted it, quite frankly. I mean,
I don't even know what the Champions League is now. What the theme tune is. It's been so long.
Whoa.
It's been so long.
Oh, Champions League. See,
that's what you need to worry about.
Yeah. Don't remind me. Like I said, that I could have done without that anthem this season. I could have done with the Champions League one back. But hopefully next season.
Painful.
It is. This is also painful. Seeing myself bottom of the prediction league table. No change from last result against United. No one predicted the United win. So James and Lee joint top 7 points. Only the first letter in their name separate them, and me and Jordan joint 5 points.
Sorry, James. Is this your longest run as the league leader? Is this the longest time you've been?
Yeah, 1 week was
one day.
Thank you so much. Let's just say every week that goes past is
he's a bit like this. He's a bit like this Arsenal thing with the elephant, isn't it? Like he's up there, but we don't know where. Like, you know what I mean? But somewhere along the line, he's going to come down. Like,
insulting your
not
friend.
Calling him dumb, though. I think we will. Like,
you just threw me and your beloved football club under the bus for a joke. Good on you. I hope you feel good about yourself, Lee.
Good on you. Good on you.
Yeah.
Come on,
James,
Dumbo, what you got?
Yeah.
You asked James if we're including the Europa League. We are this season, including the Europa League fixtures. So James, as you're top of the league, you go first. Zurich away.
2-0.
2-0.
2-0. No, to Arsenal. Come on.
That's quite light. Lee?
Yeah, I was going to go 2-0. So
Well, of course you were. Yeah. Yeah. 2-0. Me too. Yeah.
All right, Dumbo, no need for that. Like, I'm going to go 3-0 now then, like, because you've gone 2-0. I'm changing it to 3.
Fucking made him say the one I was going to say now. Jordan?
I was going 2-0 as well. I'm sticking with 2-0. Yeah.
I'm going with 3-0 then. Why not?
Well, you know, that's what we're the winner. We're born winners, us two, mate. Born
Ian
winners.
Jordan versus
Got
Lee.
one title in the bag already each.
Yeah, one's bottom of the league and one's never predicted the result. Like, so whatever you do, avoid 2-0, guys.
What on top?
No, Lee's top.
Yeah, but he was bottom of the league last year. I ain't forgot that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, he's only top on default at the moment, like, because he's got like his name's James. You know what I mean? Like, you know.
So that's it then.
Right.
All predictions are in. James and Jordan have gone 2-0. Me and Mr. Lee judges have gone 3-0 Arsenal. Let us know your.
Sorry. I was going to say I bet it'll be scrappy though. That's the last thing I just wanted to add in. Sorry to.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be enjoyable.
No. I think it'll be. I don't think we'll go and class them off the pitch. I think
Well, now we've made our predictions. I checked and they've lost their last 2 games at home. So we better do something better than 2-0 to them. That's all I'm saying.
What was the scores of their last 2 games?
They lost 2-1 at home. No, they lost 2. Yeah, they lost 2-1 at home to Lugano and they lost 4-2 at home to Basel.
We need to win. We have to win. We can't let any.
They're not even at home, you know that, didn't you? They're not even at home. They're playing on
St. Gallen.
So we have to. We can't let people and even the team start to kind of build a narrative that actually we're not that good. We need to just win on Thursday, win on Sunday, and just bury this United. Do you know what I mean? This United.
Yeah.
We have to win. We have to
big
win.
week. Put it aside. We win.
Move
We're
on.
top of the league again after 7 games, and it's like lovely. City play Tottenham. Somewhere points are being dropped, so let's just go and win.
Yeah, exactly. Win. You know, as bad as it is, or it ain't bad. But we win on. Whatever happens on Sunday, if we win, we're top of the league. Take that 7 games in.
And then another Europa League fixture next week because they are all coming thick and fast now due to the World Cup. And we're going to be covering them all in between game weeks in Premier League and Europa League as well. I think the League Cup's coming soon. We're going to cover it all, people. Make sure you're here. Make sure you're subscribed, number 1. Put the notification bell on and hit the like button. As always, love for the love. Leave your thoughts, predictions, lineups, thoughts for the game coming this Thursday against Zurich in the comment section below. And yeah, we'll be back after the Zurich game and before the Everton game as always. Peace, people. All right.